We live in a world where seeing is not believing.
Jesper Juhl defines gaming in 6 simple points. Gaming is a rule-based formal system with variable and quantifiable outcomes, where different outcomes are assigned different values, where the player exerts effort in order to influence the outcome, the player feels emotionally attached to the outcome, the consequences of the activity are optional and negotiable. Seen as a new revenue stream, video game advertising allows developers to offset growing development costs. It's a prime way to target the ever-growing hard-to-reach males aged 18 to 34 demographic.
For every dollar invested to put the Gatorade brand on arena signs, player bottles and score updates in games like NHL 10 and NBA Live 09, Gatorade got $3 back, as well as a 24% sales bump.
With video game sales in 2008 making $10.5 billion, it is easy to see why companies are clamouring to advertise via video games. Advertising in-game can take several forms: product placement, billboard ads in-game, and interactive ads. The advertisement becomes an integral part of the game's narrative. The average game player is 34 years old and has been playing games for 12 years.
When a person is engaged in the video game, there is no channel surfing, and the game is paused only for necessity. This is a terrific way for real-world advertisers and sponsors to develop incremental affinity for their brands.
Advertising is aimed at us during our downtime. Whether it be watching TV or playing video games, we are in a relaxed state and therefore more receptive to advertising. One way of advertising is by making the in-game advertisement an unavoidable part of the game. Seen here in Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, the player has to zip line from a giant Axe deodorant sign. By making the in-game advertisement a vital part of the game's storyline, game developers can force the players into engaging with the advert. There are many possibilities when it comes to advertising. The most simplest form of advertising within video games is billboards. An interesting and somewhat groundbreaking example of this is the Obama '08 campaign. The campaign purchased advertisements in 10 game titles. Burnout Paradise, shown here, was one of those 10 titles. This predicts a particular possibility that in the future, political campaigns could rely more and more on video game advertising. The Obama '08 campaign also used social media along with the in-game adverts to create the first political campaign of this kind.
The boundaries between the real world and the imaginary realm of electronic play have already begun to blur. Today's sport video games look more and more like poorly lit TV broadcasts. For an advertiser, of course, video games offer a particularly unique position. With the advert of a more ubiquitous and robust online content delivery system, advertising locations within games were able to change and respond to whatever media the buyer might wish to present.
Seen here in International Cricket 2010, each cricket venue the player can play a match in has a system to ease the change of content from the side banners, grass logos and wickets.
Advertising campaign changes? No problem. Simply push the new content to the player's console via the transparent game update.
This broadcast is presented in 3D by Doritos, who are taking the game to a whole new dimension.
In October 2010, Doritos and EA Sports created Madden 11 in Doritos 3D. By entering a code from a bag of Doritos, players could download an update to play the game in 3D, as long as they provided the red cyan glasses. Madden 11, before Doritos 3D, already featured several brands, including Doritos, quite heavily.
Through our work with EA Sports, we are committed to finding ways to elevate the gaming experience and give fans control over their biggest and best gaming moments.
This demonstrates how companies are constantly finding new and innovative ways to advertise within video games.
As well as being an ideal way to reach the generation of young folk who have apparently stopped watching television advertising because they are online or playing games, this dynamic proposition also offers a way in which to serve advertising that is not just relevant to the game, but responsive to the player's actions within it.
By making advertising part of the game narrative, advertisements within games become an unavoidable part of the game player's leisure time. The creation of possible seasonal advertising updates via downloadable content means that games could sell advertising within games via time periods, charging more for when the game first releases and decreasing the charges as the game becomes older and less played. A seasonal advertising slot system could allow bigger companies to hop from game to game, making sure that their in-game advertisements reach the biggest audience possible. It is projected that by 2013, $1.19 billion will be spent on advertising within video games.